This is the story of a man with endless interests but not one passion. When he was confronted with the reality that he needed to get a career, he turned to what his father had been doing his whole life.
It was the time when I became a teacher. I was, at the time, a bartender waiter. I was just living the life. Then my father, who was a teacher, said, "Why don't you go and take the teacher exams?" I went for an interview. This was September 4th, the day before school started. I had no serious expectation that, hey, I'm going to be a teacher. And by the end of the interview, they both said basically, "Would you like to start? Would you like to be a teacher?" I said, "Sure." Okay, you start tomorrow. I showed up September 5th and went into class. This is now 29 years later, and I'm doing the same stuff all over again. To determine the nature of an unknown reactant, we need to take into account the number of moles of reactant that we have by measuring the number of grams of the unknown and reacting it with an excess amount of another reactant, such as excess hydrochloric acid. In turn, they gave me a couple of books, so I take the books, I go home. My father, who was a teacher, I was living at my parents' house at the time, I looked and I said, hey, Pop, I'm a teacher. What do I do?" So he said, "Well, you make up a lesson plan." I said, "Okay, what's a lesson plan?" It's like, that night was sort of an interesting little night, but what I decided was, since I really didn't know what I was doing, and I do remember what it was like as a student, sort of not very nice to new teachers, you could sort of smell them. I was going to consider the aspects of teachers that I've had in the past that I respected, that I thought, hey, these guys were, they were good. Maybe they were strict, but they were understanding and so forth. And I was going to blend that with, as a student, what I would have wanted from my teachers, with the added thing of that I was now the teacher, and put in the thing that would be, in my opinion, best for the students.
What was going through your mind when they first handed you a stack of books and said you're a teacher now?
I basically, in my mind, from what I can remember, this is a long time ago, but I remember sort of saying, "Oh God, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be standing in front of a whole bunch of little bitty kiddies." I think the word once was loco parentis, for the little time that the kids spend in class. I'm the parent. I'm the adult. I have to demonstrate, model, hold them accountable for a variety of different behaviors. In a playful way, which this is not meant to be ultra serious, I was able to sort of playfully torture my three children in a nice way, like with regards to like doing their homework and, the little discipline stuff.
A simple job interview and recommendation from your father turned your life around. Did you ever expect that you'd become a teacher?
It was the last thing I ever expected to do. I figured I would be a ditch digger before I would be a teacher, or I'd be washing dishes in a restaurant before I'd be a teacher. It really, becoming a teacher didn't change me so much because, without going into any like deep family background, I liked being a kid. It was fun. We all have to grow up. But I was able to find a niche, a job, a career, however you want to consider it, where the kid could still come out, but it is tempered by the adult that I've become.
And now, how do you feel after 29 years of teaching?
I'm looking forward to retiring. In retrospect, I think teaching was inevitable for me. I don't think I could have done anything else given what I've recognized as my personality.
A man who had no life direction found his passion when he looked in the most unlikely of places. The last thing he ever wanted to do in his life was the best fit for him. My name is David Friedman, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Freedom of Class.